The brothers Rick and Marty Lagena are undertaking a large excavation on Oak Island's famed Money Pit area. They are working on a 7-diameter steel shaft known as True Believer 1, which has descended to a depth of almost 100 feet. The team has also recovered remnants of a mysterious wooden tunnel that resembles the vault, which may be evidence of the fabled Chappelle Vault, a 7-high container first reported by treasure hunters Frederick Blair and William Chappell back in 1897. Recent groundwater tests have revealed high traces of precious metals below the 100-t level, leading them to believe that this shaft is located within the original money pit. The casing is going in ridiculously easy for the last 4 feet, and the team is only about 3.5 feet away from their first target horizon, 98.5 to 99. As the TB1 shaft advances deeper toward the possible tunnel, an 18.5-ton tool known as a hammer grab is being used to bring the spoils, and possibly man-made workings, to the surface. The team is approaching the depth of the tunnel, and they are expecting to encounter a lot of wood if it is indeed a tunnel. They are at about 110-111 feet right now, which is the very end of their first zone of interest. An interesting piece of wood has been found with grooves and a dowel. This indicates the same construction methodology as the U-shaped structure, which is the oldest-looking wood they've found. The team is hopeful that the next scoop will be something mine zone, which was buried 80 to 112 feet below the surface. As the drilling machine dug deeper and deeper, they were thrilled to find a hollow space 90 feet below ground level. This revelation blew their minds, and they knew they were dealing with something of immense importance. Charles recommended that they get in touch with experts. While drilling in the same area as the treasure zone, Rick and Marty were intrigued by the discovery's backstory and questioned whether it was a typical discovery. Terry noticed that the DN-111.5, DN-125, and DN-113.5 coordinates were all precisely east-west aligned, suggesting that this could be part of a building hidden 94 feet below the water's surface. Finding out if they had uncovered another portion of this structure and whether it was related to the gold they found nearby was crucial, but they couldn't rely just on their gut feeling to provide evidence to support their claim. Charles called Rick and Marty right away, and the crew quickly came to the conclusion that they were completely in agreement with the Lagena brothers. When Rick and Marty got there, the group was able to validate what they had discovered. One important turning point in geological investigation was the finding of the Oak Island gold mining zone. The discovery of a treasure zone in the Oak Island Money Pit drill program thrilled Rick and his team. The area was unexpected because of its high gold values, air pockets, and voids, so they decided to name it after its locations. A meeting was called to go over the recent events and the background of the discovery. Terry, who is renowned for his keen observational skills, noticed that the coordinates DN 12.5 and DN 13.5 were precisely aligned from east to west, indicating that they might be part of a hidden building. The group was keen to find out if they had found another portion of the structure related to the gold found nearby, so they performed an XRF analysis on DN 11.5 and obtained results. Emma, an exceptionally talented archaeologist, came to the conclusion that the structure could only be described as a tunnel under any circumstances. An XRF spectrometer was used to analyze a sample of dry wood collected along the route, providing evidence of the typical materials found on Oak Island. Emma found elements including calcium, potassium, iron, manganese, titanium, and aluminum. They thoroughly examined the results, ruling out any potential explanations. But then they discovered an odd gold occurrence that heightened the team's enthusiasm. A more thorough comprehension of the discovery was made possible by the discovery of the treasure zone and the ensuing scientific investigation. After being assigned a mysterious mission to locate Oak Island's treasure, the Lagena brothers and their team found that a piece of wood contained gold, which they initially thought was an anomaly in the data. However, upon closer inspection, they learned that the gold made up about 0.04% of the total weight. They came up with the unexpected theory that there might be a significant amount of gold concealed within this discovery. As the team gained more knowledge about the wood and water samples, their optimism grew, leading to two intriguing areas of development. In addition to being a noteworthy discovery, the discovery of gold was also an important piece of knowledge that could point them in the right direction. The team's journey to Oak Island was filled with excitement and anticipation. Each new discovery and void they encountered gave them renewed hope for uncovering the profound truths that the island held. Despite the fact that many others had attempted to accomplish the same thing before them and had been unsuccessful, their determination to succeed remained unwavering. Their determination to unravel the mystery and unearth the legendary treasures on Oak Island was driven by their passion and unwavering conviction that they would be the ones to uncover it. As they continued their journey, they were close to making the most profound discovery possible. They finally arrived at the point where they could obtain the treasure of Oak Island, and they are eagerly anticipating the opportunity to discover this wealth. The Lagena brothers continue to search Oak Island with unwavering spirit. Whether they face disappointment or not, the Lagena brothers and their team are determined to uncover the treasure of Oak Island. Despite facing challenges and obstacles, their determination and resolve to succeed in their quest for the treasure will undoubtedly lead them to the ultimate goal of finding the treasure.
These coins from the 17th century, whence did they originate? Could they have been dropped accidentally by somebody searching for buried treasure in a hurry? Or else, and this is where there is reason for optimism, could they have been left there by a wealthy group that was on Oak Island looking to conceal its own loot? The Oak Island crew would, without a doubt, have to do more investigation. Generally speaking, the history of treasure hunting on Oak Island can be traced back to the time the money hole was dug there. The pit, commonly known as the money pit, is supposed to contain the hidden wealth. An artificially made hole is the pit. According to folklore, when exploring the island in 1795, some young people believed to be 13 or 14 years old discovered a depression in the ground. They dug because they believed it to be a man-made pit, and as they dug, they discovered layers of wood and other objects. They tried to continue their exploration, but were thwarted by a deluge of unknown origin that flooded the pit. Following the rapid dissemination of the news of the discoveries, a flurry of international treasure hunters descended upon Oak Island in search of the hidden wealth. The first planned excavation of the money pit took place in 1803, under the leadership of a group of investors known as the Onslow Company. They were given their own money pit. The excavations had to be terminated because the parties' attempts to descend to the pit's floor were unsuccessful. The following century saw a variety of groups try to solve the island's riddles, but due to the enormous difficulties they encountered, none of them were successful. The hole was flooded, which was the most significant of these, and made additional excavation unsafe and difficult. The importance of this aspect was the greatest of all. Additionally, the pit was wired with a number of devices that, when activated, would cause the pit to fill with water and keep anybody from discovering the treasure. Despite these barriers, the excavations persisted, and the Oak Island Treasure Company was founded in 1861. The flooding that was taking place in the pit prevented this specific squad's attempts from progressing past a depth of 90 feet. As a result of the bankruptcy of the Oak Island Treasure Company in 1909, the excavations were abruptly ended at that time. Since then, a number of additional teams have tried to locate the riches that is hidden on Oak Island, but the enigma of the money pit has remained a secret. The discovery of the money pit and the initial excavations on the island both had a significant impact on the evolution of the island's history, as well as the ongoing search for treasure there. Even with the challenges and roadblocks that were encountered, this is true. Despite the various challenges and disappointments that have been encountered over the centuries-long search for riches on Oak Island, the mystery surrounding the island's location continues to fascinate people. The quest to unravel the mystery surrounding the island has recently been taken on by a number of new entities. In 2010, the Oak Island Tourism Society was founded as a group dedicated to preserving the island's history and encouraging tourism. The most notable change to have taken place in recent years is this one. The Oak Island Archaeological Society has played an important role in raising public knowledge of Oak Island and the treasure hunt, in addition to participating actively in several archaeological digs on the island. Get on the mailing list right away to learn about fresh information and surprising findings about Oak Island. The Lagena brothers will probably receive the lion's share of the treasure, it appears. First of all, the Lagena brothers' ongoing search of Oak Island is authorized by the Treasure Trove license. Licensed treasure hunters are allowed to legally keep 90% of any wealth they uncover, according to a government rule. Marty goes on to suggest that it is very likely that multiple claimants would surface and argue that they had a right to the treasure's contents if a sizable treasure were found on Oak Island. These claimants may rely on some element of their residence, their ancestry, or another factor to support their claims. There will undoubtedly be a lot of people trying to get their hands on at least some of the fabled riches, but it is impossible to say who, if anyone, will be successful. The Lagena brothers and the government would both have legitimate rights over at least some share of the treasure, making them the obvious choice for at least two recipients. However, it is impossible to predict if a situation like this would ever happen in The Curse of Oak Island. Team of researchers are shocked by my shocking revelation. For additional information, watch the video after this one.